What happens when the world's craziest superhero officially loses his mind? Our story is narrated by Uatu, the Watcher. Just like the rest of his kind, he wanders the multiverse to watch and record, but never interfere. To all things must come an ending, but such cessations may be quiet and peaceful, the passing of one existence to make way for the next, while others are filled with naught but pain and terror. Uatu shows us to the Baxter Building, home of the Fantastic Four, the beginning of the end. Mr. Fantastic's body lay stretched across the laboratory, dying in his wife's arms. "No, not like this. You can't die. Not like this. I won't let you. You have to get to safety. Have to warn. He's stolen." Sue tries to get him to finish his thought, but he can't muster a full sentence as they lay in the pile of rocks that used to be Ben Grimm. Suddenly, a terrifying thought crosses her mind. "The children!" As Reed's stretchy skin melts from his face, he assures her that they're safe. They're in the negative zone, but there's a catch. The portal was destroyed. Can't get them back. Sue sheds a tear as her husband dies, but she doesn't have much time to mourn. She hears a loud sound across the building. Sue turns invisible as she rushes to the aid of the only other surviving member of the team, her brother, the Human Torch. Sue stumbles upon a ship that crashed into their building, and underneath it all, Johnny. He crawls, covered in his own blood, to safety. Who could have done this? The perpetrator reveals himself. Deadpool. "I've got to hand it to you, hothead. You put up more of a fight than I gave you credit for." Deadpool sticks his sword on Johnny's neck and without a second's hesitation, slices his throat. Johnny's blood splashes on his nearby invisible sister, giving away her location. "Peekaboo! Red's definitely your color. I'm glad you showed up. Let's see if you're half as fun as your— Ah!" Deadpool's head fills up from the inside and explodes like a water balloon, thanks to Sue's force fields. Sue breathes a sigh of relief. She has no clue why this guy she's fought beside is doing this. "It doesn't matter, because either way, you won't be hurting anyone else, ever." Deadpool stumbles for a second before his body crashes down. Sue turns around, but just like that, Deadpool rises and stabs her through the heart. "After all these years of superheroing around the world, you should know better. Really. You don't run with scissors, you don't spit into the wind, and you never ever turn your back on a dead enemy, especially not one with a healing factor." We turn back to Uatu, who reminds us that this isn't really where the story starts. The story begins at the Ravenscroft Asylum, a place of healing for shattered, tortured souls. We see Dr. Benjamin Brighton, who's developed a new treatment for troubled minds. As he walks the halls of the asylum, patients, or should we say prisoners, shout at him. "Please, I'll be good. You can't do this. For pity's sake, we're human beings." Just then, a woman tells Dr. Brighton about their new arrival. "They just brought Deadpool in." Deadpool's rolled in on a stretcher, guarded by the top-tier X-Men, Wolverine, Cyclops, Storm, and Xavier himself. As Deadpool cries for release, Wolverine says he's got a bad feeling about this. "Wade may be a loose cannon, but turning him over to these quacks ain't the right move. I only hope he can find the care he needs here." Dr. Brighton greets Xavier, assuring him that he's had great success at rehabilitating people just like Deadpool. "I understand you put up quite a fight when the staff tried to remove your costume, Mr. Wilson." "Hot dog! You know how long it's been since I had a good old-fashioned one-on-one therapy session? I mean, one that didn't end in gratuitous bloodshed. Where do I start?" As Deadpool lays back, he has not one, but two different types of thought bubbles talking to him. Two voices in his head. Not the "I was born poor and oppressed" story again. Yeah, try something new this time. Instead, Deadpool starts talking about how he grew up as a coal miner's daughter. "Hey, aren't you writing anything down? Believe me, this stuff is gold." Brighton clicks a button on his control box, and Deadpool begins to scream in pain. "I'd tell you to relax, that it might ease the pain, but that wouldn't be true. The pain is a necessary rite of passage. It strips away resistance." Deadpool's voices cry out. Brighton's killing them. Deadpool rolls over to face his psychotic psychologist, who reveals his evil plan. Brighton wants to create an army to achieve his goals of conquest. "Once I'm done conditioning you, and those like you, I'll have an unstoppable force of willing soldiers." Deadpool continues to thrash and scream as the voices call out in pain, and suddenly they stop. There, all done now. "Hello, Wade." This is a new voice, one Deadpool hasn't heard before. "Done? Doc, you might want to get a second opinion." Deadpool stands, his arms now free of the straitjacket. "I'm just getting started." Deadpool wraps the sleeves around Brighton's neck, chastising his team for tying too loosely, but Brighton doesn't die. Instead, a tiny mechanical door opens at the back of his skull. Out comes Psycho Man. Deadpool lifts his itty-bitty antagonist as the new voice, the one Psycho Man just created, urges Deadpool to kill him. "Let's go!" "Sorry, Doc, I can't do that just yet. I still need you. See, this is a release form, a clean bill of mental health. All it needs is your stamp of approval." Deadpool stamps the tiny villain a dozen times, covering the release form in his blood. "Good, good. Who? You know who I am. You've been waiting for me. You've killed one of them. Finish the job." Later, Deadpool walks through the asylum, strewn with the corpses of Ravenscroft employees. The prisoners cry out for help, but the voice tells him no. Deadpool pours gasoline across the entire complex, walking away as it explodes in a ball of fire. "Not to be rude, but where are the other guys? The other voices?" "Don't worry about them. You don't need them anymore." Uatu tells us that in the other universes, Psycho Man was successful in building his mind-wiped army. Sometimes the heroes stopped him, other times he conquered the world. But here, in this reality, the machinations of the would-be conqueror awakened a killer unlike Uatu gets blasted with a bolt of electricity, collapsing on the floor. "What is happening?" Deadpool reveals himself, wielding a device he stole from the dead Reed Richards. Must be a kick in the intergalactic stones to find out Dr. Richards was building some sort of cosmic taser to bring you down, huh? "But I did not interfere. How did you—" "See you? I don't see things the way other people do. There's something wrong with me." Deadpool puts his blade to Uatu's neck. "Ask him. Who were you talking to?" To answer, Uatu points a finger toward us, the reader. Deadpool stares through the pages of the comic into our eyes, finally understanding everything. Deadpool slices the Watcher's head clean off. They're gonna want to see what's next. They're gonna want to watch this world burn. A few days later, every news channel is focused on a new string of murders, killing every superhero and supervillain alike. Ghost Rider's flaming skull lies on a street. Dr. Doom dangles from a telephone wire. Howard the Duck is cooked and served. As Deadpool's reign of violence and bloodshed continues, the question remains, can anyone stop him? Deadpool's got his next target, Spider-Man. The two are battling above New York streets. "I used to think you were funny, but now you're simply annoying. So that's why you're not laughing. And here I was thinking it was because I'm going to cut you open from belly to neck." As the two tumble toward the street, Deadpool tries to grab a hold of Spidey's leg, but Spider-Man is able to yank it away, letting Deadpool crash to the ground in a splatter of blood. "You're lucky I don't kill you for what you've done." "Am I? Do you think they would let you break character even if you wanted to? And your slice and dice routine hasn't served you well so far, so forget threatening to gut me." "You're right, I'm not going to cut you." Deadpool lifts a gun to Spidey's chin. His senses didn't go off. Deadpool fires through Spidey's skull, leaving him dead in the street in front of hundreds of onlookers. That was fun. Amazing even. Who's next? Elsewhere, the Avengers have gathered to discuss their new threat, but this is barely half the team, not even including reserves. Where is everyone? Many are dead. The rest probably in hiding. Avengers don't hide, Luke. They don't die either, but that didn't stop Deadpool from killing Spider-Man, did it? The Avengers agree on one thing. It's kill or be killed. Suddenly, Jarvis bursts into the room. Hank Pym is missing. Wolverine sniffs, catching a scent. "I know who Deadpool's next targets are." A light flashes in the middle of the room. "Us!" The Pym particles Deadpool stole from Hank Pym begin to envelop the room, then explode the building. In a moment, the heroes are dead. Captain America lies fried next to his shield. Deadpool walks through the rubble, singing "It's Raining Men" as parts of the heroes' bodies come crashing back down. Gonna take a broom and dustpan for you guys to assemble next time. But the rubble begins to move. Luke Cage survived. You need more than a couple of bombs to take down someone with unbreakable skin. But Deadpool had a backup plan. He shrunk down a few extra bombs just in case. "You guys drink a lot of coffee. You know that?" Deadpool points Pym Pym's helmet toward Cage, activating the Pym particles inside his body. The bombs go off. Smoke pours from inside Cage before his insides explode. But Deadpool's got one more guy to kill. Apparently, the only one who doesn't drink coffee. Defeating you is not enough. Killing you is not enough. I'll scour you from the face of Midgard. Deadpool doesn't seem the least bit concerned about Thor's oncoming hammer. All he's worried about is who's pulling his strings. Mjolnir comes flying back toward Thor as Deadpool points the helmet toward the hammer. What's stronger, your hammer or your flesh? The hammer grows in size and squishes the God of Thunder. Deadpool boops the dead god's nose. Are you satisfied? Should I be? Never. I'm sorry it had to be this way. I'm sorry they don't understand. They always thought I was crazy, but they never realized I saw the world the way it really is. Psycho Man took out the only part of Deadpool that kept him from truly being insane. Now this new voice has taught him that everyone in Earth 12101 is just a puppet for some comic book writer. You're doing them a mercy. After killing Earth's mightiest heroes, the rest should be easy, right? Later, Hulk rips Deadpool in half, proving that's not quite the case. You hurt Hulk's friends! Hulk walks away from the severed body parts that used to be Deadpool, desperately wanting to be alone. He crawls to a cave and falls asleep, reverting to Bruce Banner form. But he's soon awakened. You shouldn't rip me apart and then take a nap. You wouldn't like me when I've been ripped apart. Deadpool chops off Banner's head before he gets a chance to Hulk up. Spider-Man, the Avengers, and the Hulk. Not a bad tally for a few days' work. Late at night, in some plain house in the middle of suburban New York, the loved ones of the slain heroes gather together. Aunt May leads the charge, explaining their plight to an unknown guest. So why am I here? I thought that would be obvious. May points to a pile of cash, jewelry, and other things of value. Everything these people own. We want to hire you. The man is revealed to be Taskmaster, the villain and notorious assassin. We want you to kill Deadpool. Not a problem.